Hey kids, Peter from Panda here. Hey, I want to show you another one of my little GPSs here. This is the Bushnell BackTrack GPS Detour edition. It's the Bear Grylls edition, which actually doesn't matter at all. It seems like most of the detours are exactly the same, but just wanted to show it to you here. It's kind of a more ruggedized version of the other the BackTrack that I showed you. I really like it. It's actually about the same size and mass, but it's in a different form factor, so a little easier to grasp, maybe like this, but they're roughly about the same size. So first of all, this button here is the power button. You hold it down until it powers up. It may take a little while to acquire some the satellites, but it goes to your main screen. And the first thing I'll tell you is that if you keep hitting this power button, it scrolls to your different waypoints: car, favorite, golf course hole, target, the number one, and back to home. And so you do get a pretty fair number of waypoints here. To set that waypoint, it's this button right here with your little X on it. I'm standing right next to this little tree here. I'm gonna go ahead and hold that button down to reset this waypoint, so it says 0 yards. And one of the things that I've figured out about this BackTrack is it's pretty accurate, but it does have a little bit of some quirks. So I'm going to show you that as I walk away, and just like anything that's kind of a consumer product, you can't expect super good accuracy, but there's that tree that I was just at, and it's showing me that arrow pointing there, and it says 12 yards, and that's about 12 paces, so that's pretty good. Now what I've noticed is that when you start walking back to your waypoint, especially after a long hike, it pretty much tells you you're on top of it a little early. So I'm kind of walking up here pretty slowly, and in this case it's probably going to work perfectly. I was on the other side of the tree when I marked it, and it says I'm right on top of it now, and that's actually fine. But what I have noticed is that sometimes hiking back to places, it'll actually say 30 yards, 25 yards, 20 yards, and then actually on the 20-yard mark it'll tell me that I'm there, and I can tell that I'm still actually 20 yards away. So for whatever reason, it kind of is fairly generous, or has a large margin of error. And so just be prepared that if you're within 20 yards of that waypoint, it might say you're actually on top of it. I've actually backed up from it quite a bit here, and it's still saying I'm right on that waypoint. So 4 yards is what it's saying, 5 yards, 6 yards, that's probably not too far off, but it'll say you're there a little early. The cool things about this screen is that because it is a pixelated, kind of on the fly generated LCD screen, the arrow itself can actually be quite a bit more accurate than that original BackTrack. The other thing that's cool here is that there's this mini USB plug underneath this kind of somewhat waterproof cover, and this is unique in that you can hook it up to your computer and record and view trips afterwards. Now, a couple things I'll tell you here is that this is your trip button, this little running man. So you get to that trip menu by hitting it once. It's showing you 84 degrees out here, 614 foot altitude. You hit it again to kind of get to this trip screen, and then you can even toggle through, I don't know what that is, but you get to a compass, which is useful often, but you get to your trip screen here. It shows you how much of your memory you've used, average miles per hour, etc., etc. And you just hold this button down again to start your trip. And so you can tell you started by, you get a little running man there. And now your GPS will basically stay on and follow you. What I've noticed is that your batteries, fresh batteries, are going to last maybe 3 or 4 days, maybe not even that long, depending on kind of how many times it has to require. But it is pretty cool that if you're going on a multi-day hike, you can record all of your telemetry. If you're doing a one-dayer, no big deal, but if you're going to do multiple days and do trip recording, I might suggest taking some extra AAA batteries. It takes 3 AAA batteries, and I've just put these in. As you can see, my battery indicator is there and is full. To stop your trip, you just hold down the button again, and your little running man is going to go away. You plug it in, roll over some footage. You have to download a BackTrack app off of the Bushnell website, and then it'll take the data from it and overlay your different trips on different days in different colors, so you can actually see where you went, the total time, the total distance. It's actually pretty nifty. So if that's important to you, going to have more of the full featured GPS functionality, awesome. This isn't something that I've been able to tell that you can plug in lunge and lat waypoints and navigate to them, but you know, it's kind of everything you want in a GPS and nothing you don't. But in fact, it's got a little bit more than that base backtrack. So hopefully that's helpful. Peter von Panda for the BackTrack GPS Detour. Out.